Today we have Professor Hyland from Hong Kong University with us. Welcome. Professor Hyland is a very prolific author of several books on academic discourse across disciplines. And today he's here with us to give a few tips on how to get your research published in peer-reviewed journals. So you're very welcome, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. My name's Ken Hyland. I'm a Professor of Applied Linguistics at Hong Kong University, and I'm the editor of Applied Linguistics, which is a leading journal in the field of linguistics. I've been an editor of 2 journals for over 12 years, and I'm on the board of many other journals and regularly review. Now, because of this background and also my publishing experience, I've been asked to say something about getting published in international journals. It's hard to be succinct and concise about all this, but I think that I would advise newcomers to the field to think about 3 main points when getting published. First of all, to know your paper. Secondly, to know the journal that you're targeting. And thirdly, to write with someone who has experience of getting published, or at least have that kind of person to read your paper before you submit it. So, what do I mean by know your paper? I mean, of course you know your paper, you've just written it. But I think it's helpful to really interrogate yourself about what is the paper about? What issue does it address? What's the main point? What methodology does it use? Does it adequately summarize the literature? Who is it going to interest? I think it might be worth writing a sentence answering each of these questions, just so you're sure that you'll know what it's about. Know the journal. I think a lot of people write their paper and just send it off to the best journal in the field. Obviously, you have to be a bit more strategic than this, and I think before you sit down and write up your research is to know where it's going to go. And to do this, you have to have a good knowledge of the journals in your field. So talk to your colleagues, have a look online, go to Google Scholar, put in some keywords, find the journals that are publishing in those areas. Look at the Thomson ISI site for the leading journals. Then go to the journals themselves, look at the instructions for authors. What do they require? What are the formatting? What kind of citation practices do they use? What's the word length? All these things are very important. Also look at the editorial board. Who's on the board? Are they people like you? Are they people that do work in your area? So I think you need to target a particular journal. The conventions are different, the word lengths are different, the genres are often slightly different, and their interests are different. So they publish slightly different specializations, and they may have a preference for quantitative or qualitative work, or work in that's outside of your area or comfort zone. So I think it's good to know the journal. Also, how prestigious is it? Prestige is a fuzzy term, but I think you've got to be realistic. Is your paper a good fit for the prestige of the journal? Prestige can be defined in many ways. Obviously, it relates to the quality of the papers in the journal, but how does that get measured? Well, I think the conventional way is to look at the impact factor. Now, the impact factor is the measure of the influence that papers published in that journal have on the field through how many citations they typically get. So the higher the impact factor, the more prestigious the journal. the more visibility you're likely to have if you publish in it. The journals with the highest impact factors are going to be the toughest to get into. So you have to be realistic. If your paper is absolutely fantastic, then go for it. Head for the most prestigious journal you can. But I think if you look at your paper realistically, you might feel that it should go in slightly down the pecking order. Another way of measuring prestige is is it double-blind peer-reviewed? Now, peer review is the gold standard of evaluating quality. If the journal is not peer-reviewed, then avoid it completely. The third point I'd like to make is that I think it's a good idea, if it's possible, to publish with someone that is familiar with the process or has published papers before. Publishing on your own is very tough. Not only do you have to work out which journal to send it to go through the submitting process, to understand the reviewer's comments and whether to resubmit or not, you also have to tame your patience and understand the reviewer's comments. You have to cut your beautiful prose in the process of revising. So having someone there that's gone through all this before is much easier. You can learn a lot from this. It's a kind of apprenticeship into your discipline. I know a lot of disciplines frown on collaboration and co-authorship. If you can't publish with somebody, then at least ask someone who knows your work and knows the journals who have published before to read what you've written and to give you feedback on it. That's the most valuable thing you can get. That's about all I have to say. Good luck.